Welcome back to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I'm joined with my teammate, Beyblade Lale. How are you today, Beyblade?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm pretty solid. Excited for the upcoming season. We got Media Day in 2 days on Monday. What do you expect to see from us on Media Day?
I think it'll be really fun. We're finally all home from college, and we're just anxious to get this season started. And I think it'll be a really fun day just to kind of prepare for the season that starts a week from today, next Saturday, May
15th, yes, sir.
15th, yeah. It'll be fun. Luckily, we got a new person with us. We'll talk about that a little later, as you guys know. But I think it'll be fun. Kind of give us a chance to hear from some of the players and give our thoughts on the upcoming season.
Yeah, we're gonna have the help of Anna Ambrose, as he introduced earlier. She's gonna come over. She's gonna help us. She'll take pictures of us with her top-notch camera she's got, so we'll have good quality pictures of us. Planning on to use those pictures for graphics in the future, or just possible like pictures just for Twitter, a little collage for us, and then we'll follow that. We'll come down here. We'll do some press conferences. Each player is going to get up on the stage. All the other players in the league will each ask them one question, and then Anna Ambrose is going to ask two questions each of us because she's our media director. She's going to help out with any type of media help we need. She's going to help us film, edit videos, and just try to grow our brand.
Yeah, I think it's awesome how she hopped on board with us. It was a great surprise, honestly. One day, Bennett just asked us if we'd be willing to bring in a producer, I guess, for lack of better words, and we were all on board with it. And she's awesome. Her enthusiasm is second to none about this league, and I think she can do a lot of great things for us that we can't really do ourselves. She's a lot more professional about her work, which will help her and our league succeed too.
She's also going to feature us on one of her sports media shows that she does over in Kansas at KU. We're going to be on Playmakers. I think she told us we're going to have a little segment on there where she's going to, it's a surprise at the moment, but she's going to talk about our league. I had to send in a video describing our league, so I'm just excited to see how she produces that. I think it's going to be a really exciting summer this year.
Yeah, we've already gotten, you know the numbers for sure, but a lot more Twitter followers already before anything was even released yet. So I can't imagine how many more followers we could get when this episode is released. But I'm very excited for it, and I'm looking forward to when it drops.
Yeah, me too. As he said earlier, we're going to have our opening day is going to be here at the Bennett Beckwith Blacktop. I'm just going to do a quick breakdown of the teams. You talk about the two captains, and I'll talk about the two other players. So you can start if you want. Start with the Rugrats.
The Rugrats, obviously, everyone knows them. They were here last year, and Georgie Warren is the captain of them. He isn't as motivated as the other owner, I would say, but he definitely brings it on the court. And I'll be interested to see how he plays this year, because last year he looked like he was running away with it for MVP, and the season had to get cut short. So we'll see if he's improved all this offseason or how he's doing overall. We haven't seen him in a while, especially me, but going to our other captain is Bennett Beckwith. You guys know him. You've seen him outspoken on Twitter about winning his awards and all that, and he definitely has the motivation, just being his teammate. I see it every day, how much passion he has for the league and how much he wants to bring a championship to New Mexico, and he really just is supportive of everything we have going on here. So it's a really good matchup. Two guys who have different skill sets, and we'll see how their teammates perform, as he'll get into just now.
Yeah, Georgie's teammate is a rookie this year in Richmond. This offseason, he lost mid-range Mike. He was never really committed to our league. Didn't like the framework of our league, so Georgie had to cut him from the roster. And we've been playing with this kid, Lamar, my brother. One of his good friends' name is Austin Geary, and he came over a couple times when he was younger. He played basketball with me and Beyblade and Lamar, and He's always had a good talent with basketball. He's got a good frame on him, good height, good size, good strength. And he's been a big fan of the DBA for a long time. He had the Twitter notifications on, so I knew he was a diehard fan. So one day I was just like, hey, Big Texas, how would you like to be in the league? And he's like, hell yeah, I'd love to do it. That's exactly what he said in quotes. So Georgie picked him up, he signed him. It's gonna be kind of a mystery on his play style, but just based off what I can remember from playing with him, plays like a center. He's gonna try to do most of his damage around the rim. So I'm gonna have to guard him well because he may or may not have called me out. We'll see that in the press conference. But so he's gonna be a center for them. He's gonna have to match up against King Bennett. So we'll see how he handles that. On the other side of the ball, we got my teammate Beyblade Lale. We saw him last year. He's he's the best point guard in the league. Play style reminds me of Russell Westbrook. You know, he slashes to the rim with his quick speed. He can finish with a monster dunk. At the same time, he's good at feeding the ball around to me. He always looks for me when I'm open. That's why he racks up so many assists. I expect him to be the assist leader this year because he plays very unselfish basketball. But at the same time, if you need a clutch three, you just give the ball to him because you know he's got the talent and the worthiness of shooting the three in the clutch situation. So I think it's going to be a good matchup between him and Georgie because him and Georgie actually have some Twitter beef, so they're going to be matching up against each other, and I'm excited to see that matchup. Do you want to talk about that matchup a little bit? What do you think about it?
I will say I'm looking forward to it. I did guard him in our most recent Winter League game. Although we didn't win the game, didn't get the result we wanted, I think I played a pretty good game against him, especially for him being like half a foot taller than me, it feels like. But I got a lot of experience from that game, and I've been thinking of ways I can improve my defense on him because he still scored quite a bit, but I do think I learned a lot from it, and I'm excited to hopefully guard him this summer if he's up for the challenge. I'm looking forward to seeing him on Media Day in a couple days and confronting him face to face. Maybe we can do one of those UFC face-offs that you see.
Oh yeah.
But even though it may sound like a shock that I'm so confident in me guarding him, like because his height, but I have many other skills that outweigh him. I'm much faster than he is. I think I'm more athletic. I think I can shoot better. The only thing he really has on me is height, and that is a big thing. But I think I have many more tools in the bag that people don't really think about that often.
Yeah, I think Georgie Warren, he's so successful in this league due to his height and just his lengthiness in general. He's got a funky shot, but somehow it works, and around the rim he gets a lot of boards because he's just taller than everybody else in the league, and he's got longer arms than everybody else in the league. Also, I think a skill that he has that's slept on is he's got good hands. Like, he's really good at stealing the ball.
Yeah.
He honestly has some good basketball IQ. You saw there's some plays I think they might have got scrapped in the Winter League where he found Gavin in open situations, but Gavin just couldn't see the ball and it went right past his face.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he has his moments. He had at least 6 turnovers in the Winter League game. So that's something you got to look out for. But I think it's going to be a great matchup between those two.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And we have a brand new matchup we've never seen before in Bennett and Big Texas. What are your thoughts about Big Texas?
Yeah.
We don't really know much about him.
The original plan was for me to match up with Georgie like we did in the first game last year. And Georgie wanted to match up against me all year because I was his roommate and he was talking about it. But then you started Twitter beef with him and you said you're going to guard him on defense. But then I was talking to Georgie, he said he wanted to guard me when they were on defense. And I was like, that's kind of weird because you just called him out. And he's like, I don't want to do that. But then in a group chat over the off season, Big Texas said he's going to put me on a poster this year. So if he's going to be that cocky, I asked him, I was like, hey, if you're going to be this cocky, you need to back it up and guard me on offense and defense this year. And he said he's down for the challenge. So I should be guarding Big Texas all year. He should be guarding me. And I think this is a very intriguing matchup. You got the commissioner and owner versus the fresh rookie, the guy who started the league versus the guy that's brand new. So it's definitely intriguing on paper. I think it's going to be intriguing to watch on the court because I'm the taller frame on our roster, so I'm going to have to guard him anyways. I've known him for a while, so I think I know some of his weaknesses. And I really think that there's going to be times where I expose him offensively and defensively. So look out for some highlights put on Big Texas this year.
Definitely interested. It'll be fun. And I think a main reason that Georgie might have wanted to keep guarding Bennett is because he's been doing it the whole time throughout this league. All of our games, I believe, he's been matched up with
On defense,
him,
yes.
at least at the start of the game. So maybe it was something to do with him not wanting to see a new defender. He doesn't know how to really figure them out, and I like the thought of that, me being unpredictable for him. And I mean, Big Texas, it'll be unpredictable either way. I think he's going to struggle. He doesn't. We'll see. We'll hear more thoughts about it on Media Day. I know he's a very cocky rookie, which can backfire sometimes, but we'll see. I wouldn't say I'm rooting for him to fail, but he needs his kind of welcome to the DBA moments, and he might get it the first game, so he just needs to come prepared because we know Bennett always is chasing that Defensive Player of the Year award. He arguably was the best defender last year. I don't really think that had any debate, so maybe not arguably, but I think it'll be a good matchup. I feel good about our defense for sure. And I know a lot of people are worried about the height of the Rugrats now with mid-range gone because he was the shortest player in the league last year, and now you're adding Big Texas, who is
bigger than both of us.
Yeah, I knew he was bigger than me, but yeah, he has a big frame. It'll definitely be a learning curve to figuring out how to attack him, but I think we've just been preparing for this season for a long time. We really disappointed when it was cut short last year. We know how loyal those New Mexico fans are, and we want to do everything we can to bring a championship back to them. So we're going to give it our all, and I do feel much better about how we have prepared this offseason than the other team. I might hear more about that on Media Day, but I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I also want to talk about the new signing we had a couple weeks ago. I think that kind of got swept under the rug, but we signed Brody Ortmeyer. He's a big, tall guy that I think he could be key in emergency situations. We didn't sign him to be a starter on our roster, but say Beyblade gets hurt this summer or he's out of town when we need to play a game, he's going to be on the phone. We can call him up. He can replace Beyblade, and honestly, I think if we add that height to either of us, either of our play styles, I don't think that the Rugrats can take a single game from us. So in case we absolutely need Brody, he's going to be there for us, and I don't think there's any way we lose this league if we have Brody along with both of us.
Yeah, I agree. He's always been a very underrated player. I've played against him a few times just from being on his baseball teams. We go have team dinners, we play some hoops, and he was always a very good player. He has the height, he has the handles, he can shoot, he can do about it all. He's just an athletic kid. And if he does get any playing time this year, he will undoubtedly be the third man of the year if we have if we have that award. But it'll be interesting. I hope I don't miss any games, but it is nice knowing that we have a solid replacement if something like that does happen.
Honestly, I think that Brody is the best basketball player in this league. And he's got the height, he's got the vertical, he's got Chase's height, he's got my vertical along with your athleticism. That's just the best player you can imagine.
He has it all. He has the IQ too.
He has the IQ.
Smart kid.
Just problems that we got to deal with is him being available because he told me he's got a busy schedule, which I think we don't need him because we're only going to need 5 games this summer.
Just emergency situations, and it was kind of funny how it was all brought up. I was just sitting in my room up in Lincoln for like one night, and Bennett just gives me a text. He's like, I'm signing another player to our team. I'm like, oh boy, am I getting cut? Like, what have I done wrong? And then he calls me right after. He's like, yeah, I'm signing Brody Ortmeyer. He's going to be your replacement. And I was in shock. And luckily he was joking. He assured that he would only be a backup option. And But that was kind of a funny way to bring him into the league from my perspective. Kind of scared me a little bit, and I believed it because he's a great player. It's not something that could be like joked about. Like other people that are being brought into the league, you could think of it as like, oh, like it's no big deal. But he's a good player, so I was worried for a little bit. But I mean, either way, I think we'll be just fine. It's just nice having that extra depth. So I'm excited if he does get any playing time.
Yeah, the true reason I actually ended up reaching out to him and signing him is because rooming with Georgie, we've been talking DBA a lot, and he says if Austin gets busy, or Big Texas, if he gets busy with baseball, or Georgie doesn't like the way he's panning out in this league, or he somehow gets injured, he told me he was going to go after Brody and sign him. And, Bill Belichick and myself, Bennett, thinking one step ahead, I was like, I got to pick up this guy before he does, because if he picks up this guy, it's going to be very difficult for us to guard two guys that are 4 inches taller than us. So I went out there, hit him up, I picked him up, and if Georgie tries to pull anything else like that, we got Brody there for us, and he can replace one of us. We can take load management. So I think that just really secures our spot as a favorites to win this league.
I think, and thinking back to or what you just talked about with Georgie saying he would sign him, that is just an amateur ownership move. Like, you don't tell people what you're planning to do,
especially
or else something like that will
owner.
happen. You tell the other owner, hey, I'm thinking about signing this guy. Okay, it makes it pretty damn easy for him to just say, oh yeah, I'll just pick him up. He'll come to my team if I ask him first, and that's exactly what he did. So we know Chase Warren has never been the brightest, but I figured Georgie would be a little smarter, but I guess he's exactly how we had always seen him as. But I think that's pretty funny to think about, and hopefully he learns from it.
Yeah, I think that was just a Chase Warren move right there. In fantasy football, when we play, he'd be like, "Hey, I got a guy in the waiver wire that I'm gonna pick up." I'd be like, "Oh yeah, who is it?" He'd be like, "I'm not telling you, but it's a wide receiver's at the top of the boards." So I just put in my waiver before he would. And he'd wake up the next morning and be salty about it. So I'm just always trying to be one step ahead of my opposition, and thanks to Chase Warren's silliness right there, we got our guy, and I think that we secure our spot. And honestly, I think with that signing, we should have been ranked 1 in the power rankings. We came out as last in the league in the power rankings when I released the poll.
Yeah,
that's just blasphemous. You have 2 guys that can win Defensive Player of the Year, and honestly, both guys that have a shot at the MVP, and you rank them last in the league over Georgie and a rookie. I think that's just silly by the voters that ranked us last. For sure.
That was the one thing that does put us over the top. I think we were over the top already, but it was disrespectful. So I think some may say, oh, we're trying to build a super team. It's better than having him on the other team, because if the situation where Austin or Big Texas goes and gets cut, they're unstoppable if Georgie and Brody are on the same team. So I think we're undoubtedly number 1 in power rankings now, and betting odds come out, we should be favored to win that title.
Yeah, when I saw the power rankings and they had the Rugrats ahead of us and we were in last place, it really put a chip on my shoulder for the season. Like, all the voters out there who made those power rankings, they doubted us, and I think we need to prove them wrong this year.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we can. Even though we went 2-2 last year, you guys saw tape. We were missing shots left and right, and that's a big thing we've worked on, especially myself. I know with 2 big guys that are going to be in the paint, we need to shoot. We need to shoot to get back in games, to get up early, draw them out, and then we can start opening up the offense a lot more. And that's really what hurt us in last year's games. We ran into a lot of problems with the wind, kind of just hurt our shooting, and then you have Georgie, who's always going to post up in the paint and get easy buckets that way, where the wind wouldn't be a factor. But I've definitely been working on my shot. I know Bennett has too. And even in tough conditions, like when it's windy out, you can't use that as an excuse. I've been practicing even in wind, even when it's windy, just so I know for sure, like, can't use that as an excuse. And I think it'll help us, and I do think we have been preparing a lot more than the Rugrats have, and we're just excited to let it fly on game day. Very excited.
Sure. Next, I want to talk about the formatting of our season. Last year, we really came into the season without having a true formatting of the year. We were just out there playing basketball games in front of camera. But this year, we're taking the league more seriously. So I talked to the DBA board of directors, and if you didn't know, we're going to have a season where it's best 5 out of 9. First team to win 5 games wins the Consdorf Trophy, and they win it all. So I think every game this year is going to be very impactful. You steal game 1, you're already ahead of the season. If you take 2 right out of the gates, it's going to be very tough for the other team to come back and win. So every game is going to be that much more important because we're actually playing for something this year. Yeah. So we're really going to have to focus on every single game.
Yeah, strive for 5 is what we're calling it.
Strive for 5.
It's a great motto, honestly. Whoever came up with that, props to them.
Yeah.
But I do really like the format. I think it's a lot better than just saying, hey, we're going to schedule a game here, because schedules change. You don't really know. It's nice to just have something where we're like, okay, just first to win 5, we'll schedule games like when people are available, rather than having a typical, like, compare it to the lesser DBA, the NBA. They have a schedule that runs throughout the whole season, and they have standings throughout it all. And also, I mean, we have a 2-team league, so it just makes a lot more sense to just make it best of 9, first to win 5. And with that being said, there won't be playoffs or anything because, I mean, once again, 2 teams, you can't really set any of that up. It'll almost be like a NBA, DBA finals series throughout the whole season. And that'll be a lot more fun to watch. I'm expecting our ratings to be a lot higher than this past year's NBA was. And I honestly think that we will draw in a lot more attention in the long run with it.
Yeah, I think that this format makes more sense for our league because if we decided to do a 5-game regular season and a best of 3 in the playoffs, a team could technically go 0-5 and win the DBA championship. So that's not what we wanted, because if you play that regular season, the games don't matter. We played this season the way we're planning on doing it. Every game is that much more important. And therefore, I think that when the voters discuss MVPs, they should be treated like the finals MVP.
Yeah.
So unless you have a stellar performance, you're averaging 18, 10, and 5. If you don't win the DBA championship, you should not be in the consideration for finals or for DBA MVP.
I completely agree with that. I mean, how valuable are you to your team if your team doesn't even come away with the championship? And I know you can compare it to a few years ago, the NBA Finals. People thought LeBron should win the NBA Finals MVP when his team lost. It's utterly ridiculous, if you ask me. And I know Georgie likes to chase those awards, but I think he should be worried about how his team performs first, because that's not even going to be in question if they don't come home with the trophy.
Yeah, I think, with all due respect to Georgie, I think at times he cares more about his personal box score at the end of the game than whether his city is pleased with the outcome of the true game. Like, over in New Mexico, I don't care if I have 2 points. As long as we get that W, I'm ecstatic after the game. And in Richmond, I think there's a whole different attitude towards the games for maybe like chasing your own career records and making your own stats higher, when in reality, the only thing that matters at the end of the year is hoisting that Consdorf trophy.
It does. And it starts with the ownership. Once again, that's the inexperience in Georgie's ownership, I think, is really causing a lot of that. You see Bennett is a proud owner of the New Mexico Hatchling Slashers. He always talks about the city, the fans back home, and how much he wants to bring the Consdorf Trophy home to our state. And you never hear any of that from the other side. we did a cahoots not too long ago, and Georgie got questions wrong about his own team, and I think that just really goes to show how much he truly cares about how his team performs, which is not a lot, especially when you compare it to Bennett Beckwith over here. And I've been able to witness it all as his teammate and close friend. Every day he's talking about, oh, I want to satisfy our fans this year. They've been waiting so long for this trophy. I want Georgie to eat his words almost, being cocky, and even the rookie being too cocky right now. When that's not what it's about. It's about satisfying the people who have been there with you the whole time. And there is no better fan base out there than the Slashers fan base.
Yeah, I agree with that. And when we're talking about Georgie and Richmond, we're trying to be as unbiased as possible. This podcast is trying to be a third-party viewpoint on the league, and we're not just saying this because we're on the Slashers. We're saying this because it's the actual truth what's going on. I think that the Slashers organization shows a little more effort and care towards this league than Richmond does, and that's just not because we're on the Slashers. It's because that's what's truly going on in this league.
Yeah. I mean, that about wrap it up for our DBA segment. We're just catching you guys up to date on everything that's been going on. Got to hear some opinions that wouldn't normally hear on Twitter and stuff.
Yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for this part. Just a reminder, we got media day on Monday. Possible DBA combine in the middle of the week, which I don't know if that's gonna happen anymore due to our game getting pushed up. So for sure, DBA media day on Monday on the 10th with Stephen A. Ambrose. She's gonna help us out, and then for sure we're gonna have opening day here at the Beckwith Blacktop on May 15th, that Saturday. So those are the days you gotta look out for, and that's about it.